unusual one. It's
Birdman.
restricted up to the northern,
Number
up to
10.
perhaps the eastern edge of the Pilbara as well. This is a hawk, a little bit bigger than a magpie, towards Kookaburra size, but it has a little crest on the top of the head. When we were kids, it was known as the crested hawk. And strangely, quite a few of the birds of prey have got bars across the front of their belly in their colouring. And our goshawks and sparrowhawks and the bazza are the ones that have these. But one of the interesting things, we were up at El Questro Station on the Gibb River Road some years ago and doing the tour with the people there, and you wouldn't believe it, on these big kajiput, which are paperbark trees on the side, there are these hand-span, 10, 15, 20 centimetre long stick insects, big, long, thin ones, about as thick as your little finger, feeding on the foliage. And would you believe it, these crested hawks, or the Australian bazza, or Pacific bazza, as they call it now, guess what its food is?
What?
Stick insects.
There you
Couldn't
go.
believe it. And when they catch them with their feet, you see them taking it back to the nest. They actually stand on the little or the big stick insect, and then rip it to pieces and feed it to their babies. And that was a very unusual thing to actually see these Pacific bazzas, or the Australian bazzas, doing this feeding on stick insect, which is most unusual.
And I believe you saw them up at El Questro Station.
That's right. That station is an absolutely marvellous place, and it's one of the places where you can literally guarantee to see. We were doing the tour on the Chamberlain River there, and on both banks of the river are these enormous paperbarks, or I think they use the word kajiput up there, and these big stick insects, by the way, beautifully green with they're actually banded, green and white, to literally conceal themselves in the foliage.
Eric McCrum, Birdman, is talking hawks and eagles with us on 7:20. It's 19 minutes past 7 o'clock. Now, sea eagles, such as ospreys.
We actually have three rather large ones. The white-breasted sea eagle, which is a very large one. It gets up to just over 80 centimetres long, so it's a very large eagle. And the osprey, which is much smaller, that's usually in a region of about 60 centimetres. And then we have the beautiful Brahminy kite, which is this beautiful white on the head, neck and belly, and this beautiful rich brown on the back. These three eagles, or one's an eagle, one's an osprey, one's a kite, all of these feed on the fish in the ocean. And strangely, a lot of people don't know, because of the curve of the talon, which of course is made that when they grasp onto a fish near the surface of the water, that the curve of the talon literally locks the fish into their foot so they can't escape it. Often, if the eagle underestimated how big the fish is, that particular curve in their talon causes their death. Would you believe it? Because if the fish is too heavy for the eagle to lift out of the water, it can't undo its grip of the fish. And of course, it'll be pulled into the water, and once its feathers start to get wet, it's useless. It won't be able to take off.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. Our producer Alex is back from a couple of years in the Pilbara area. He's missing the white-bellied sea eagles. Do they ever come as far south as Perth?
Yes, they have been. We've actually had the white-breasted sea eagle come in at Herdsman's Lake when I was there. Only once in the 14 years that I was there. But because they patrol along the coast, they probably come down as far as. Well, I'll just have a quick look at the map in here. But I've got a map here. The white-breasted sea. Yes, it's found right down to Esperance. So they are found right around the coast.
Now, let's talk about the swamp harrier you mentioned.
Oh, this is this is one of the fairly large harriers. Very, very long legs on all the harriers. That's one of the characteristics of them. And this is simply because they hawk or harry over the reeds of swamp, or houses the swamp area. It flies low over the reeds there, and with these large, long legs, it can actually drop down in between the reeds, grasp onto the bird that they usually are going to eat, which are, at herdsman's lake, it's a coot. They generally here at herdsmen feed on coots, and one coot, there's enough meat of one coot to feed that harrier for about 4 days. So in 1 year, under normal circumstances, a harrier will kill 90 coots in a lake just to feed it. There's a big proportion of the bird life on there needed just to feed one hawk. And that's why when you go to the various lakes around in the Perth area, there are no harriers there, simply because there aren't enough birds on that particular lake to keep that harrier on the lake. They have to move around.
Well, it's a lot of coots. It's 23 minutes past 7 o'clock. Eric McCrum of Birdman talking hawks, eagles and harriers with raptors and eagles today. Now, a caller rang in, Eric, and said she saw a couple of full-grown wedge-tailed eagles at Preveley Park at Margaret River. Said she hadn't seen any for ages. What are the numbers like?
The numbers, because they are, I've used the word itinerant, they're moving around all the time looking for food. In fact, sometimes you come up here into the hills and you'll see a wedge tail passing over, and you may not see another one for a couple of months. And it's simply that they're moving around where their particular food, which is usually kangaroos. Recently I saw a lovely photograph. Someone up in the wheat belt, I'm not too sure what the person's name was, he actually got a photograph of a wedge-tailed eagle with a fox in its talons flying over his field. And the photograph he took was absolutely beautiful. And here was this fox killed by this wedge-tailed eagle. The wedge-tailed eagles, by the way, when they attack kangaroos, they do what they call stooting. They fly very high, and using their eyes, they're watching the ground. And when they see a likely food source, they then literally fold their wings in and then start plummeting towards the ground and picking up enormous speeds. And then they level out, and then using their hind toe with that big talon, hit the back of the kangaroo and hopefully break its spine. And then, of course, they come back to feed on the animal at a later stage.
Well, I tell you what, that probably answers your question, Albert, who was asking about wedge-tailed eagles' impact. Eric, can I just ask you to hold on a moment? We'll get some news headlines and come back for a few more listener questions.
Terrific.
Thanks, Eric.
Well, that's the Birdman, guys. I don't expect many of you guys to really tune in and watch that one. Really just Eric McCrum talking to birds. It's very interesting, but I really enjoy it, amongst other things as well. I do really enjoy listening to Eric McCrum talking birds. Very interesting stuff. Obviously, he's on every Wednesday. If I catch him, I do, but if I don't, I don't. Top bloke, really, an Australian icon, really, Eric McCrum, talking birds, and lots of great information there. And obviously, coming soon video. I will be coming soon to all of you. As soon as we get a good day, we will be doing the coming soon video. I do have a few things lined up for that, and we will be hosting quite a few of the channels in my circles. You guys know exactly who I'm talking about. So that's something to look forward to. I'm thinking, as soon as Christmas comes along, before Christmas, I'm thinking I'm going to be doing the video. So within the next month and a bit. So that's the plan, guys. And hopefully, with the weather hopefully clearing up, we're going to get a good day for it.
Of the eagles and damage them, they won't be replacing their wing feathers until the next molting. And so the eagles know that they can't afford to have their wing feathers damaged, so they clear out of the area. And generally speaking, the the mass attacking of these eagles is simply to stop them predating on the actual babies that they might have in nests. Out at Kunana, which is east of Kalgoorlie, we actually found out there on one of the wedge-tailed eagles' nest, we found 31 galah head skulls at the bottom of their nest. So these eagles are actually using flock birds as a source of food.
Wow, they're impressive creatures. Now, callers said eagles have very good sight, but do you know what their sense of smell is like?
Very, very good. In fact, there have been some reports recorded in documentary stuff that they can actually smell a source of food up to 3 kilometres away. That's really good nose work.
David sees an osprey nesting in power line poles when he goes down to Hillary's boat harbour. Is it dangerous for birds to be nesting in places like that?
Not dangerous for them, because they fly above the wires. They're not likely that their wings will touch 2 wires. If this is why birds can land on a single wire, because the electricity has to go from the wire through you to another source. And if you're just standing on the wire, or the birds are hanging onto the wire, the electricity can't go anywhere so that they don't get electrocuted. But if they let their wing touch one of the other wires, the electricity to go through their feet, through their body, through the wing, and that they will get zapped. So generally speaking, on the top of poles and things like that, their nests are only dangerous if it's raining, because the water can conduct the electricity from one wire to another.
Now, Daniel says he's told there's an eagle that swoops.
And that's enough for today, guys, and we'll be back with Birdman next Wednesday. Give a gab, goodbye.